Hello and welcome back to the Owl's Nest, a place where timeless wisdom drifts into your mind as you drift into sleep. Tonight, we'll be exploring ideas from the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene, gently unfolding its lessons in a calm, slow and relaxing way as you prepare for rest. Before we begin, get into a comfortable position and allow your body to fully relax. These narrations are best experienced with headphones, so you can be fully immersed in the voice and the subtle binaural beats designed to support deep relaxation. There is nothing you need to analyze or remember. You don't need to stay focused or alert. Just listen softly in the background and allow the words to pass through your mind effortlessly. As the narration fades, the binaural beats will continue, helping you sink into deeper rest while your subconscious quietly absorbs the themes and ideas. If you enjoy these journeys into timeless books and hidden wisdom, consider subscribing to the Owl's Nest so you don't miss what comes next. Now, take a slow breath in and gently let it go. Let the thoughts of the day begin to fade. Allow your eyes to close whenever you're ready, and we'll begin. What is strategy? Robert Greene opens this book with an idea that reframes the word war entirely. War, he suggests, isn't only fought on battlefields. It's fought quietly, every day, in offices, in relationships, in the small negotiations of ordinary life, anywhere two wills meet and one must find a way through. Strategy, then, is simply the art of thinking several steps ahead, of seeing not just the moment in front of you, but the moment after it, and the one after that. Most people, Greene observes, react. They respond to whatever happens directly in front of them, moment to moment, pulled along by circumstance. The strategist, by contrast, steps back, watches the whole board, and moves with intention rather than impulse. This isn't about aggression. He's careful to note, the greatest strategists in history were rarely the most warlike. They were the calmest, the ones who could see clearly, precisely because they weren't clouded by anger or fear, or the need to react right away. You don't have to hold on to any of this too tightly. Just let it drift over you like a slow-moving cloud, here for a moment and then gone, making space for the next thought to arrive. The calm mind of the strategist. There is a quiet thread running through the entire book, and it has less to do with cleverness and more to do with composure. Greene returns again and again to a single idea, that the mind under pressure makes poor decisions. Fear narrows perception, anger clouds judgment, and the strategist who can remain calm, even in the middle of conflict, holds an enormous advantage over everyone around them. He describes this calm as a kind of inner distance, not coldness, but clarity, the ability to observe a difficult situation almost as if watching it from slightly outside oneself, noticing the emotions rising without being swept away by them. This quality, Greene suggests, can be built deliberately, through practice, through simply pausing again and again in small moments, until that pause becomes a habit, and eventually a kind of quiet strength. You don't need to reach for this feeling right now. You can simply notice it, like still water beneath a windy sky, and let your body grow heavier, softer, sinking further into the space beneath you. Knowing the ground you stand on. Greene spends considerable time on a principle he borrows from ancient military thought, the importance of understanding your circumstances with total honesty. Before any conflict, before any decision, the strategist studies the terrain, not just the physical landscape, but the emotional and social one too. Who holds power? Where the weaknesses lie? What resources are actually available? rather than what one wishes were available. Self-deception, Greene warns, is often more dangerous than any outside opponent. The strategist who sees their situation clearly, including their own limitations, is far better equipped than the one operating on wishful thinking. This kind of honest seeing, he suggests, isn't pessimism. It's simply the foundation good decisions are built on. You cannot navigate ground you refuse to look at. Greene also draws a distinction between knowing the terrain in general and knowing it in the specific moment you're standing in. Circumstances shift. What was true yesterday may no longer be true today. The strategist, he suggests, keeps looking, keeps updating their picture of things, rather than relying on an old map of a landscape that has already changed. There's nothing you need to examine right now, though. Just let this thought settle, like snow falling quietly outside a window, while your own mind grows quieter and quieter still. The power of the indirect approach. One of the most memorable ideas in the book is what Greene calls the indirect approach, the notion that the shortest path to a goal is rarely a straight line. Where a direct assault meets resistance head-on, an indirect approach moves around it, finds the soft, undefended angle, achieves the same end with far less friction, far less cost. Greene illustrates this with countless examples throughout history. Commanders who won not by overpowering their opponents, but by making their opponents defend the wrong place entirely, while the real move happened somewhere else, quietly, almost unnoticed. There's a gentleness hidden in this idea if you look closely. That force isn't always the answer. Sometimes the wisest path forward is the one that goes around the obstacle rather than through it. And maybe, as you rest here tonight, you can let that same principle apply to your own mind. If a thought feels like an obstacle, you don't need to push against it. You can simply let it drift gently to the side and continue softening, continue settling. Greene also notes that the indirect approach requires a certain humility. It asks the strategist to set aside pride, to stop caring about looking strong in the moment, and to focus instead on what actually works. The ego, he suggests, is often the real obstacle, standing between a person and the smartest possible path forward. Timing, patience, and the art of waiting. Another idea Greene returns to often is timing. The strategist, he explains, understands that not every moment is the right moment to act. Sometimes the wisest move is no move at all. Waiting, observing, letting circumstances shift and reveal themselves rather than forcing an outcome before conditions are ready. This patience, he notes, is often mistaken for weakness by those who don't understand it, but it's quite the opposite. It takes far more discipline to wait calmly than to act rashly out of impatience or anxiety. Greene compares this waiting to a hunter, still and quiet, allowing the moment to come to them rather than chasing it. There is no wasted energy in this kind of patience, only readiness. There is nothing to rush here either. Let this thought settle slowly, the way a stone sinks gently through still water. No effort, only gravity, only time. The many faces of the strategist. Greene sketches out different strategic temperaments throughout the book, not as fixed types, but as different ways. This same clear-sighted thinking can show up in a person. There is the type who leads through steady discipline, someone whose calm, methodical presence gives everyone around them a sense of order, even in chaos. There is the type who wins through adaptability, someone who reads each new situation freshly, without clinging to old plans that no longer fit. There is the type who wins through patience, someone content to wait far longer than others would tolerate, trusting that the right moment will eventually arrive. And there is the type who wins through boldness at exactly the right instant. Someone who, after long stillness, moves swiftly and decisively the moment an opening appears. None of these Greene notes is superior to the others. Each is simply a different instrument, suited to different circumstances. The wisest strategists, he suggests, learn to move between them as the situation requires. You don't need to identify with any one of these tonight. You can simply let the descriptions pass through you, soft and unhurried, like listening to rain from somewhere warm and dry. Fluidity becoming water. Toward the middle of the book, Greene turns to an image borrowed from ancient philosophy, the idea of water as the ultimate strategic model. Water, he observes, has no fixed shape. It moves around obstacles rather than breaking against them. It finds the lowest, easiest path without struggle, without wasted effort, and yet, given enough time, water can wear down even stone. The strategist, Greene suggests, benefits from this same fluidity. Rigid plans break under pressure, but a mind that stays adaptable, that can shift shape as circumstances shift, bends without breaking, and finds a way through almost anything. This isn't about having no direction. It's about holding direction loosely enough to adjust, rather than gripping so tightly that any unexpected turn causes everything to shatter. Greene points out that this fluid quality is often mistaken for indecision, but the two are quite different. Indecision comes from confusion, from not knowing what you want. Fluidity comes from clarity so deep that the strategist doesn't need to force a single fixed method. They trust themselves to find the right shape for whatever the moment requires. You can let your own body borrow a little of that same quality right now. Loose, unclenched, formless, the way water rests in whatever shape contains it, soft and at ease. Fluidity becoming water. Toward the middle of the book, Greene turns to an image borrowed from ancient philosophy, the idea of water as the ultimate strategic model. Water, he observes, has no fixed shape. It moves around obstacles rather than breaking against them. It finds the lowest, easiest path, without struggle, without wasted effort. And yet, given enough time, water can wear down even stone. The strategist, Greene suggests, benefits from this same fluidity. Rigid plans break under pressure, but a mind that stays adaptable, that can shift shape as circumstances shift, bends without breaking, and finds a way through almost anything. This isn't about having no direction. It's about holding direction loosely enough to adjust, rather than gripping so tightly that any unexpected turn causes everything to shatter. Greene points out that this fluid quality is often mistaken for indecision, but the two are quite different. Indecision comes from confusion, from not knowing what you want. Fluidity comes from clarity so deep that the strategist doesn't need to force a single fixed method. They trust themselves to find the right shape for whatever the moment requires. You can let your own body borrow a little of that same quality right now, loose, unclenched, formless, the way water rests in whatever shape contains it, soft and at ease. The courage to act decisively. For all its emphasis on patience and calm, Greene's book also makes room for a very different quality, the courage to act fully and decisively once the right moment arrives. He warns against a particular trap, the strategist who becomes so cautious, so devoted to analysis that they never actually move. Endless deliberation, he suggests, can become its own kind of failure. The greatest strategic minds in history, he observes, balance patience with a willingness to commit fully once they saw their opening. Half measures, taken hesitantly, often cost more than bold moves taken with full conviction. There's a quiet lesson in this for anything in life, really, that preparation matters, patience matters, but eventually there comes a moment simply to act, wholeheartedly, without looking back. You don't need to act on anything tonight, though. You've already done the difficult part simply by pausing, by resting, by allowing this quiet moment to exist undisturbed. What quietly undermines a strategist? Greene also spends time on the habits that quietly erode good strategic thinking, often without the person even noticing. Pride is one of them. A strategist convinced of their own infallibility stops watching carefully, stops adjusting, and becomes predictable, which is, in Greene's telling, one of the most dangerous things a strategist can become. Emotional reaction is another. Decisions made in anger or wounded pride, he notes, are rarely good decisions. They serve the emotion of the moment rather than the actual goal. And perhaps the most common pitfall of all, fighting battles that don't actually need to be fought. Greene reminds his readers that not every provocation deserves a response. Sometimes the wisest strategic choice is simply to let something go and preserve your energy for what truly matters. You can let that idea rest gently too, the thought that peace sometimes is its own kind of victory. Nothing here needs fighting for, only softening, only rest. Becoming a strategic mind. Near the end of the book, Greene arrives at a thought that feels less like tactics and more like a way of being. The qualities he describes throughout, patience, clarity, adaptability, calm, aren't meant to be used only in moments of conflict. Practiced consistently, he suggests, they slowly become part of a person's character, a quieter, steadier way of moving through the world altogether. What begins as a deliberate skill, exercised carefully in difficult moments, gradually becomes instinct. The strategist stops needing to think their way into calm. It simply becomes who they are. There's something quietly reassuring in that idea, that the steadiness we practice, even in small ways, doesn't stay separate from us forever. It settles in. It becomes part of the foundation we stand on. You don't need to become anything right now. You can simply rest exactly as you are, soft, unhurried, and at ease. Closing reflections. If there is one thread that ties all of these ideas together, it is this: that the calmest mind in the room is almost always the strongest one, that patience is rarely passive, it's a quiet form of power, and that the clearest way forward is often the one that requires no force at all. You don't need to remember any of this. It is already settled somewhere deep, quietly folding itself into the edges of your mind, the way tonight's thoughts are folding into stillness. There is nowhere to be, nothing to do, only this soft darkness and the gentle hum of sound around you. Let your body sink a little heavier into wherever you're resting. Let your breath grow slower, longer, further apart. And whenever you're ready, let go completely and drift into sleep. If you found this journey relaxing, consider subscribing to The Owl's Nest, and I'll see you in the next one.